First time ever on a podcast. It's Amanda Andrick. Crazy technology. I didn't even know you're talking about a modem being on a mower. I'm like, where's it at? This is cutting edge stuff here. There's got to be some story where this stuff benefited the farmer. How's John Deere able to keep their employees so happy? What would you say to a lawn care business owner? How did they build a culture that's like John Deere? I learned something new about John Deere today. So, welcome back to Louisville, Kentucky, here at the Equip Expo. They just opened the doors and folks are coming in from all over the place. This is awesome. Our special guest today, first time ever on a podcast at the big stage of the John Deere booth. This is quite the inaugural episode. It's Amanda Andrick from Mowing, Illinois.
Yeah.
Did I say,
awesome.
Did I say Illinois right? Not saying Illinois?
You got it. So, thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great to have you here. So you've been with John Deere for 11 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time. In our industry, if we can have someone for 1 year, it's a success. So you guys, Luke's been here for, I think, 8 years. Chasing them guys is like 25 years. It's wild. So
yeah.
How'd you get started at John Deere?
Yeah, so I grew up in northern Illinois, in a town called Princeton, Illinois, about an hour east of Moline. And always had a passion to be a teacher. So I ended up, went to school for ag education to be a high school ag teacher at the University of Illinois in Champaign. But it was kind of cool because I found other ways to be able to educate and help people grow and advance. And I found marketing within John Deere as a passion of mine and started as an intern between my last 2 years of college. So I think it's what's been really cool is, though that's where my background is there's so many different ways that you take those skills and be able to tell a story. And so I've started my career and spent a lot of my career in more of our aftermarket and customer support part of our business, but really was able to, train, help improve product, and how do we ensure that the downtime is, continuing to decrease. And there's a lot of different things, and then also got to spend some time learning about our products and our customers globally. And so understanding how different customers work and different levels of even where agriculture is around the world has been really cool. But I joined this team about a year ago in the professional landscape contractor area.
I'm curious, as an 18, 19-year-old kid, I want to be an agriculture teacher.
Yeah.
Like, what's the story? Did you grow up on a farm, or what? How'd you get passionate about agriculture? That's unique.
Yeah, so I did not grow up on a farm. So my family is generally related to the agriculture industry, but did not grow up on a farm, but found that passion in high school. And I think there's a lot of things within the FFA organization that, you can gain. And I found a lot of those and wanted to make sure I continued that and brought that to a lot of other students in the future. So I think if you look back when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a teacher, but I think I didn't know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to teach until I came to high school. So that was, I was a little kid. I would always play. That was my my thing, was to be able to teach her. So. Okay.
And then what year did you get your start with John Deere? That had to be kind of like a dream job, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. So I started full time in 2013.
Okay. And you've kind of done some different departments or whatnot, getting us to where you are today. Yeah.
So have worked in our warranty group. I've worked in our intelligence solutions group. So more of our technology products. Have worked in our small tractor business, and then some recently in our aftermarket and customer support part of the business with our dealers. So yeah.
And you will not believe what you can actually track now, from where your mower's at to efficiencies to maintenance. I want you to give us an update on some crazy technology. I didn't even know you're talking about a modem being on a mower. I'm like, where's it at? Like, it's hidden, but this is cutting edge stuff here.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're here today at Equip Expo and talking about John Deere Operations Center and the value of that information that's on your machine coming to the cloud and through the tool. So John Deere started on this journey, especially within the large ag and the construction forestry industry many years ago. And so John Deere Operations Center has been around about 10 years now, but now we're moving it into our turf space and bringing that value to customers. And so, as you said, there's essentially a modem, or kind of like a little cell phone, right, on the machine, that then takes that machine off of the data off that machine and sends it to the cloud. And John Deere Operations Center is a place where you can go view that information. And then there's also a companion mobile app, Operations Center Mobile that gives you that same features and functionality, but you can do it anywhere at any time, right? So you can see the data coming off your machines.
So tell us the story you were sharing off air about you can actually track. So Miss Smith calls you and says, "You guys broke my window," and then you're like, "Okay, let's see." Oh no, the mower was at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Or wherever.
Yeah. No, exactly, and it's the machine data that comes back is a little different per piece of equipment, but the machine tracking is one big area, and through Operations Center you can go back in history and see yesterday at 10 a.m. right when they said that that they did the damage, right, that your machine wasn't even in the area, and I think that's just really good information as you think of what you can do with that data. But there's also the efficiency data that comes off of that machine. So not only where it's at from a GPS location perspective, but what is that machine doing while it's running? Is it sitting idle? Is it transport moving around different areas? Is it actually actively mowing with the PTO on? And that a lot of valuable information to be able to look at efficiency and maybe how to improve the operators or the business overall.
Yeah, and then when it comes to maintenance, how can that help with measuring maintenance and when things, you need to change the oil?
Yeah, absolutely. So John Deere Operations Center, you have the ability to either set up your own custom maintenance plans if you would like, or the factory maintenance plans can be loaded in to follow that same maintenance schedule. And so based upon the hours that are on the machine, you'll get notifications and upcoming reminders of when your maintenance needs to be complete, along with what needs to be done at each of those intervals and the parts that are needed as part of that. So it's all part of in there with the notifications and alerts, and you can set up reports from an efficiency perspective. So maybe every morning when you come in at 8 a.m. you want to see what the crews did the day before. You can set that up and customize it, and so it comes into your email inbox every morning so you can take a look.
Yeah. Here with Amanda from John Deere, do you have any stories of someone, maybe because it's newer on this side now, but on the ag side, like someone stole a tractor and you were able to track them down, or like I'm sure there's got to be some story where this stuff benefited the farmer, the
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's think of all of that and how do they better run their operation, and I think that's where the same thing is in this area, and I think to your comment about geofencing and location, right, that's one thing we hear from customers, right, is I know that my machine is back in the yard overnight, right? If it leaves sometime overnight, that's not good, right? So send me an alert. And so we have the ability to do geofencing and curfews. So if you have a machine running or it's leaving a certain area outside of a time frame that you would expect it to be, that you can be notified, right? And so we know that, we've had some customers say that theft is something that they think about, as one of their, that's in the back of their mind, and having that kind of peace of mind, right? That you know where your machines are at, and if something happens, that you could have a little bit more information on it. So where it might be.
That's really good. Now explain to me. I live in Sarasota, Florida. We just got our Wi-Fi knocked out, so now my brain's thinking like, if the Wi-Fi goes down, how am I going to talk to my podcast producer?
Yeah.
Like my brain's thinking, in a world of no Wi-Fi, how do I operate life? How does we call it a modem that's hidden in the mower? How does that connect to the cloud? Like, explain the technology. How does that work? I'm not a technical brain.
Yeah, so think of it as a cell phone. So that's essentially, pinging to the tower just like your cell phone is on networks. And that's essentially think of it as like a cell phone on your machine, and it's using the cell connection to make that data transfer. And
then on the actual cell phone, it's like an app?
Yep.
And then in the app, you can go ahead and see all the analytics and where your mower's at and how it's performing and what maintenance is upcoming.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you John Deere Operations Center, you would have a John Deere account that you would create. Then all your machines would be tied to your account that you have, and you can see that on the web or on your phone, and it's all the same information through that same account. So yeah, it's pretty much sending machines. We actually have machines out in our ride and drive area this week that are connected. So they're out there pinging data to the cloud, and we can see that information over here where we're demoing it to customers. So it's live information all the time.
That's super
as long as the machine's on and running. Yep.
Now, you mentioned earlier that it's been in the ag industry for a decade. When is this going to be on the mainstream John Deere commercial lawnmower?
Yeah, so today in commercial mowing, it's available on either in base from our factories or an aftermarket kit on all of our commercial mowing equipment and our compact construction equipment, and moving into rest of the turf equipment here very soon.
So is that something?
This is real today.
If somebody has a commercial mower they purchased 2 years ago, they can bring it into the dealer, and the dealer can put it on there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So they can be on current equipment, and then there is capability back into some previous equipment. So the John Deere dealer, your local dealer, can help you understand the availability of it. But yes, absolutely, we can connect machines, and we have a lot of connected machines today. So
super cool. This is your second year at Expo?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's awesome. It is fun. It's a fun week. It's a lot of time to connect with customers and understand how we can continue to help their business and what are those things that they think about every day, especially when I'm in the digital space, and how do we help them improve their business, is what are those challenges that they're thinking about each day. So I love learning about that. So
yeah, and there's about 30,000 people here. A lot of flannel shirts, a lot of beards, a lot of it's a lot of hoodies. It's guys that love the outdoors, landscaping, lawn care, and you guys do this big. I mean, how much effort went into this epic setup that you guys have here? How many weeks, months have you been working on kind of getting all this ready?
Yeah, it's definitely a months out process, and I think it's fun to see it all come together and all the different parts of the from our focusing in the aftermarket to focusing on our technology, but then also all the different pieces of equipment that our professional landscape contractors use, and seeing that all come together is really fun every year. So
I'm curious, Amanda, about, you've been here 11 years, correct?
Yep, at John Deere. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's kept you around for over a decade? Like, why do you work with one company for so long, and why that's so common?
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, Chase too said he was here for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So how is John Deere able to keep their employees so happy and such a longevity with the company?
Yeah, so I think the thing that I think about it that I answer that question is what gets you up every morning, right? And and a couple different things that I come to my mind is really the people that we work with every day. And I think we're all driven to help our customers, and it's fun to do that, right? We're all trying to help our customers be more efficient, more effective, and in the different ways we can do that. And I think that's one of the big things. And I think the other thing from my perspective is just the different opportunities that you can have within John Deere to learn about different products and industries and parts of the business. Mm-hmm. It's cool to see that, and I think you probably talked to Luke earlier, and he's been in different parts of the business and learned different things, and it's just the people around you that makes that super exciting.
Luke was telling us about one-on-ones where you meet. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Yeah,
so every day I have different one-on-ones, either with my manager and or with colleagues, and I think it's a fun way to connect, and we're all trying to help improve customers, and so business, right? So how do we use those different ways, and you learn something when you just talk to people, and stopping and seeing somebody in the hallway, or having that quick phone call. It's so easy to build those relationships, especially with one-on-ones, and you can learn new things that you didn't know even the hour before that. So
yeah. The biggest pain point that we have, Amanda, in our industry isn't getting the next mower. I mean, there's thousands of mowers here. It's not getting the next string trimmer. It's the human being element. Mm-hmm. How do we get a human being who will show up?
Yeah.
like more than one day. You know what I mean? It's hard work mowing grass or doing mulch and work. So you've worked here for 11 years. What would you say to a lawn care business owner? How do they build a culture that's like John Deere, that they can attract Amandas, they can attract winners?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is just finding that connection to the customer. I think that's one thing that I've seen over my career is we're in different roles, right? You can have a closer connection to that end customer or that outcome that you're trying to do. And I think by having that connection and, knowing that you're making a difference is one major thing that I think, even just myself, right, is makes you want to stay, and you know that you're helping that customer. So like in the landscape industry, right, is what does that end customer think of the job that you do, or the satisfaction that they get from when you mowed their lawn or their property, and I think that's, to me, is what kind of keeps you, I don't know, keeps me motivated at least.
And at what point during your orientation or your year one, were you realizing, wow, John Deere's obsessed with the customer? Like, when did you realize, okay, if I'm going to work here, they really care about their customer? Yeah,
I mean, through a lot of different things. And the area that I had earlier on is even the interaction with our dealer network, and understanding their value in the end customer. And so I think, through them, I learned a lot of valuable information, and still do every day. But I think that's, there's a lot of, you kind of see that, and you see the passion stories, right, that come out. And I think that's what just keeps you excited.
What are you passionate about most?
Yeah, so I love helping people. I love really in a lot of different ways, whether that's, helping a customer, helping, a fellow employee, right, to grow and develop. I think that's what I have my passion around, which I think relates back to my education, and just kind of, they say your strengths, right, or the cores and the things that's in your core, and I think that's what I enjoy the most every day. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, and that's the fun part.
What's been your favorite part of working here at John Deere?
Yeah, my biggest thing is just the experiences that I've had over the years, and meeting so many different people and customers, and learning about different cultures. I think that's really been passionate about it. I spent a couple of years living in Singapore with John Deere.
Oh, wow.
In Southeast Asia, and understood a lot about the customers there and the areas outside of the U.S. And so that's kind of one of my fun experiences, and an awesome experience at the same time.
Yeah, so tell me more about Singapore. John Deere, what exactly do they I didn't think John Deere, Singapore. I picture you guys out in the country land of America.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more about Singapore.
Yeah, so Singapore is our really our Asian kind of head location. And so from our sales and marketing perspective, so work with our, dealer network and that area within Asia. And so, yeah, it's definitely not the rural setting by any means, but
it's a big city on water, right?
Absolutely.
I don't want to embarrass myself here with my geography, but I've seen it. It's like, what's that water around the skyscrapers?
Yeah, it's a bay. So it is a little island. They call it the Little Red Dot. It is a very small island, but is completely surrounded by water. And Malaysia is just right to the north of it. So. Yeah.
Okay, and then you're from Northern Illinois, so I'm sure Chicago, you have that as kind of like a comparison. Is it the same size as Chicago, less, bigger? What's Singapore like?
Very similar. It's probably a little more like a New York size, but just from the population size, but actually more densely populated. So yeah, it was super fun.
And then what kind of food did they eat over there?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Loved Singaporean food. So one of my favorite one is laksa. It's a curry-based soup, and it's amazing. And love to make it and eat it if I can find it here in the States. So I
have a Instagram group that I'm a part of with other influencers. So, but anyway, there's a Singapore influencer in the group. Her name's Mary, and she just makes content going around Singapore. Like, she talks about how safe it is. She's like, at 3 a.m. as a woman, she can walk in the streets. Not that they recommend that, but she's like, I feel way safer than I do. She's from Switzerland, but she was just saying how safe it is compared to some of the European cities. Is that what you experienced over there?
Yeah, for sure. It's beautiful, beautiful country. It's a lot of different things going on there, but a beautiful weather year round. I know you're from Florida, so very similar to that. It's that kind of tropical area, but super great country.
We were looking at the forecast in Florida when I get back. I'm not used to this cold weather because I've been in Florida now. It's 90 and sunny every day, so it's going to be about 84 and 85 when I get back.
Yeah,
so this is cold.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the Singapore information.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've always wanted to go there, and I've heard nothing but great things about it.
It is a fun place and an easy place to go to other parts of Southeast Asia too. So it makes it easy from a location perspective.
And where was John Deere's setup, and where did you live compared to where everything's going on?
In Singapore?
In Singapore, was John Deere had like a skyscraper, or were they out in the country a little bit?
Nope, it was in one of the buildings, kind of towards the western kind of central coast, and so
where all the big buildings are.
Yeah,
John Deere's got a building.
Yeah, or part of a building. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a whole thing. Yeah.
And so you lived where the skyscrapers are.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. I never would have, or would not imagine myself doing that in the States here, but I had a blast over there. So
I learned something new about John Deere today, so
yeah.
pretty cool. Well, I figure, these companies have global stuff, but to actually meet someone who's lived there, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience and spent a lot of my time there with the small tractor part of the business. So
cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know Chase is works at North Carolina. We just had Luke from Kansas City. You're in Illinois. You guys got folks, John Deere. I just assumed everyone worked in Illinois, but that's not the case.
No, that is not at all. But I work at our headquarters. I sit in our worldwide headquarters location in Moline. So.
And do you feel like the other people that work in the other branches, like their faces and everything?
Oh yeah. Know everybody pretty much here today. So yeah.
Cool. Was there anything we're leaving out about the operating system here?
Yeah. So I think as we talked a little bit about those key value points, but John Deere Operations Center is really a fleet management tool. And what we have today is really, we're trying to get machines connected and that data and information moving to the cloud to be used. And how do we continue to grow that out over the years? And so, definitely take a look at and learn more about John Deere Operations Center. The tool itself is a free tool, so there's no monthly subscription or annual fees when it comes to using Operations Center after connecting the machine. So I think the other thing that's really cool is that you don't have to connect a ton of machines. You can connect how many you want to connect, and the data starts flowing. So, if it's one I want to connect a machine or two at a time, or one crew to see the value or to see what it's like, you have the total ability to do that. You don't have to go all in on everything or not. So, it's a very scalable solution that can be done. So,
super cool. Well, I really appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, thank you very much, and it's been great to chat, and looking forward to the rest of Expo here. Yeah,
well, thank you, Amanda, for John Deere making this happen. This is the podcaster's dream because we get to connect in person and do interviews in person and not have to all this stuff. That's why Mr. Producer's here. This stuff stresses me out. And the fact that we're able to just set up in the morning and create great content for you all day long. Thank you to John Deere. If you're watching on YouTube or Instagram or whatnot, I mean, they built us this big old studio. It's incredible. So this is primetime real estate here at the Equip Expo. We're very appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us in the booth.
Cool. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah. And thank you guys for watching, and we hope to catch you on the next episode. Good job for your first podcast.
Thank you.